AUC first joined at the Arab Technology Business Plan competition, which took place in Bahrain, and they managed to get first place. They managed to go top on this competition, and thus they qualified for the world competition. And the world competition is called the Intel Global Challenge competition, which took place in the United States, and they have managed to come back with third place from around the world. It's a huge achievement in science. As you know, Egypt in this regard and in this field needs a lot of care and attention, which is not really yet given the attention that it is due. We are going to speak with the leader of this group. He is joining us tonight, Mr. Azzazy, Mr. Hassan Azzazy, who is a professor of chemistry at AUC. He is also an adjunct professor at the Graduate School of Biotechnology at the University of Maryland in University College at the USA. And he's also the leader of the Novel Diagnostics Therapeutics Research Group at AUC. And this is the group that actually had the project to establish a company or startup called NanoGold that would develop innovative, low-cost and reliable diagnosis for active infections, including the hepatitis C. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
First, I want to know more about the group that you assembled to compete in this competition.
Once we heard about the competition last July, I assembled a group of 3 graduate students and 1 other faculty member at the School of Business. This competition, as you mentioned, is a business technology, business plan competition. And really it focuses on innovation in science and technology. Plus, you have to also prepare a sound business plan. So I selected for this competition a team of 5. I was the founder and the leader of this team. And then we have Mr. Sharif Shawi. He is a doctoral student between the American University in Cairo and Vrije University in Amsterdam. And Sharif's role was essentially technical. He's more into use of gold nanoparticles, synthesis and functionalization and utilization and assay development. I have also included Mr. Tamir Samir. He's also a doctoral candidate, and he's also a member of my group. And his role was technical, but Samir has also a very unique specialization, which is, I call him street smart. So he knows everything in the market. He helps us with insight, market insight, regulation, what kind of approval do we need, market survey. So he has this talent, which was really necessary to develop a very sound business plan. Then I have Dr. Ahmed Tolba, and he's an assistant professor of business at the American University in Cairo. And of course, he was a businessman in the group, dealing with money talk, preparing of really detailed and extensive business plan. We all helped him in the preparation of the business plan. And then finally, we have Maya Mansour. She is a master's student at the American University in Cairo in biotechnology. And I label her the group glue. I would dub her the group glue because she doesn't do anything specific, but if she's not around, everything starts falling apart. So as you can see, the team really is very, in a way, homogeneous in one sense, but at the same time complement each other with regard to the needed expertise for this particular competition. And I would like to add that both the judges at the Arab Technology Business Plan competition in Bahrain, that took place in Bahrain, and also the judges of the Intel Global Challenge that happens at UC Berkeley last week, both were very impressed when I flashed the picture of the team and the way I labeled them: money man, technical man, founder, driver, street smart, and group glue. They really felt that this is really a real team, with the needed expertise. Venture capitalists usually invest in people, and they like to see a strong team. And this is exactly what they have mentioned. Actually, both judges in both competition mentioned to me that one of your strong points was the team.
So what is this competition all about? Is it technological or is it a business competition?
This is actually both. It's both. It's actually mixes science, technology, and innovation with business plan, with a third dimension, which is impact on society. So really we are being measured or being judged at 3 levels. How innovative is the idea with regard to technology and science? How sound of a business plan can we prepare? A very sound business plan means how to go to market. How do you plan to market? What is the price of your product? How this compare to other markets? How much you plan to make in the first year? How much money do you need to start? What is your vision for 5 years from today, 10 years from today? So in a way, it takes a very serious look at your business plan, because science and technology and innovation, you may have a very bright idea, but the market does not need, or a very bright idea, but does not address a need or a problem, or a very bright idea, but at the same time, it's not feasible. It's very expensive. It does not compare, or maybe it's not needed by the market. And the third dimension, which is very important for Intel and for the Arab Science and Technology Foundation, as well as the UNIDO, is the social impact of your solution. You are preparing an innovative solution from the technology and scientific point of view. You are preparing a very sound business plan, but what is your impact on society? So actually, our plan, because really the target hepatitis C virus, which infects around 200 million people around the globe, really also attracted lots of attention, because we're really targeting a severe problem that has economical impact, of course, disease impact, as well as societal impact.
How did you tackle this hepatitis C situation through your project? What is your
We have proposed, or have developed actually, a prototype, a new novel test that utilizes gold nanoparticle to detect active infection with hepatitis C. And this is, of course, there are many tests on the market to detect hepatitis C virus infection. But the current test detects the virus in 2 steps. Number 1, you have to do an antibody test. And if the test is positive, this means that the patient has been exposed to the virus, but not necessarily have active infection with the virus. Then the patient has to do a molecular test or a PCR-based test to detect the presence of the active virus itself. And in this case, the patient will be diagnosed as a patient with HCV or a chronic patient with HCV, and this should be treated, cannot donate blood, and all the rest of the medical management. What we have done, that we use a very high technology, which is essentially biotechnology and nanotechnology, to develop a very low-tech test using gold nanoparticle that can detect active infection with hepatitis C virus in 1 test. So now we say at 1/10 of the cost, at the same time in less than 1 hour. Usually the 2 tests take between 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4 days. By the time you have the patient to come and donate a blood sample, and then generate the result and give the result to the patient, and then ask him to come back again to take another blood sample, and then generate the result and give it back to the patient. We can do all of this in 1 step at 1/10 of the cost. At the same time, the result can be generated in less than 1 hour. Of course, our test also does not need sophisticated equipment or very complicated infrastructure in the lab. So this can be done essentially anywhere. And this is, we offered a solution to a complicated testing process, an expensive testing process. Our goal was to lower the bar to knowledge. So we are trying to help people to know their HCV status. Because if they know their HCV status, this will be the first and important step in interfering with the virus transmission. In Egypt, we have around 10 million people infected with the virus, and there is some report that appeared last October indicating that there may be 500,000 new cases of HCV in Egypt alone. So this is really a serious problem in this country, and it has, of course, an economic impact. Treatment is very expensive. We were talking about £60,000 or £50,000 to treat a patient for 6 months. The social impact, the social stigma of the disease. Actually, many young men and women here in Egypt know about their HCV status when they get a contract to work in the Arab region, for example, the Gulf countries. And they will be asked to go and get tested in the central laboratories of Ministry of Health, and then they find out that they have HCV. They will not be able to get their job contract. At the same time, they find out they have a disease that may live with them for the rest of their lives. So this is really a serious problem that we really need intervention, and part of the solution was to develop cheap and sensitive testing technology that will help people to know to know their status.
The way you made this technology or worked on this technology,
right,
will it help also in other sides of medicine not just hepatitis?
Perfect. This is actually one of the strongest point in our innovation. This is a platform technology. We have used gold nanoparticle, and we allow them to detect the hepatitis C virus, but we can use the same exact platform technology to detect other infection and other pathogens, including tuberculosis. And actually, we have already developed a second prototype to detect tuberculosis, which causes a severe disease. Actually, tuberculosis kills 1.3 million patients around the globe each year. We also have 3 other projects that actually run in parallel to detect tumor markers or markers of cancer, urinary bladder cancer, liver cancer, and also another form of cancer, that we also use the same technology to go about, again, more sensitive, much less expensive, and fast assays for detection of these diseases, which will help, of course, the community and society, not only in Egypt, but also globally.
Your project has got first place in the Arab competition.
Correct.
And then it got third around the world in the Intel competition.
Right.
Is it true it's the first Arab team to reach the third place, right?
That's right. The Arab competition, which is essentially organized by the Arab Science and Technology Foundation, called ASTF, really was started last July on 4 phases. So first phase, they ask you just to prepare a small short proposal and submit the CVs of each member of the team. And then in the second phase, they'll ask you to submit a preliminary business plan and a full proposal. And then in the third phase, they ask you to really submit a full-fledged proposal. They actually ask you to prepare a 3-minute video about the technology, and we have done this. And then in the fourth phase, they go another, you have to submit all the documents and your full proposal in the fourth phase. Of course, each phase, a number of teams will decrease. Actually, we start with 240 teams. By the time we ended up with like 4 teams only going to the, or actually 10 teams going to the finals. In the finals in Bahrain that took place in the Kingdom of Bahrain, October 25th, we ranked first, with the second team from Saudi and Lebanon jointly, and the third team from Yemen. And these 3 teams, because we are the first, second, and third, we were eligible to join the Intel Global Challenge that took place last week in UC Berkeley. When I arrived there last week, I found 30 teams coming from different regions, different countries, Japan, China, you name it. All are winners and champions of their regions and their regional competitions. We took, of course, we have a primary preparation for the competition in one day, and in the second day we have the semifinals, where 22 teams out of the 30 teams were eliminated, and we managed to become one of the 8 finalists. And in the final day of the competition, thank God, we managed to score 30th place, which is the first time that any Arab team or Egyptian team went in this 7-year-long competition.
How was the reaction there to your achievement?
Was actually very good. Actually, we really received a very, very positive feedback. I mean, in the final competition, we really had 8 judges assessing each project. And 8 judges means you're talking about 8 venture capitalists from Silicon Valley. So these people know exactly what they're doing. So meaning that they give us a vote of confidence or a positive vote, meaning that they really can put money on the table to fund this prototype and move it to the market. So we really have received a very positive impact. But to tell you the truth also, our project was really a success from day one. I did not really predict that we are going to win any place, but we really had all the right ingredients. We have filed for patents in the US. We have been cited in the Science magazine and Nature magazine, and these are like the top scientific magazine in the globe. We have already attracted research money, actually up to $1 million of research fund to move this project forward. We have the right team. We really have had a very strong insight about the technology. I mean, even gold nanoparticle, we can synthesize these novel structures in our laboratory from scratch. And this is really allow us to manipulate this structure, change their chemical structure, and manipulate their properties in a way to make them do what we want them to do.
How are you going to move on from now? Is there any entrepreneur, any businessman, any company willing to fund it and put it into the market to be a productive tool?
We have been approached by a few venture capitalists from Silicon Valley in the US, and also we have approached by other venture capitalists from the Arab region, especially from Qatar and from Emirates.